All right. We got to talk about this today. Today's an exciting day. I'm going to have to get my oven on in a second. But we need... What's up, everybody? It is a Christmas miracle today. That's what today is. We're talking about the Vibe Tribe today. I got to pin this because today I'm really excited because that means we are making Beet Wellington. What's up, Adam? I'm pumped for today, man. So, we're also, by the way, someone a lot smarter than me, shout out to Sherry, said, hey, you have a YouTube channel. Why don't you just live stream what you're doing on IG on YouTube too? And I was like, that's a pretty good idea. Why don't I do that? What's up, Julia Stiles? So if you notice here on IG, you can say hi to my webcam. And what I do with that webcam now, once a month, is I do my live cooking demos from my Vibe Tribe. And today's that day, and we're keeping it Christmas themed, which I'm really excited. So what I'm doing now is we're just going to hang out for a little bit, and then when it's time to actually cook, that's when I'm going to go over and we're going to vibe there. And honestly, this is something that I enjoy doing. I've been doing, I'm deciding whether to make a vegan mushroom or butternut squash or Beet Wellington. Well, man, if you were in the inner circle, you can make the Beet Wellington with us today. And what's even cooler is if you join, all of the replays are there. So, like, after this is done, like, you'll have the replay to go watch. And all my cooking demos, all like 50 of them that I've done on Patreon are there. So it's cool. Like, some people have like gone back and watched. And I'm excited for this today, man. I'm going to have to go open a window quick. 1 second. It's going to get hot in here. I should have did this before, but here we are. So give me 1 second. Just crack a window a little bit. Get some airflow in here. Oh, what's up, man? How we doing? I listened to the podcast this morning a little bit on my way to work, and it was cool, man. I appreciate you guys having me on. By the way, I know according to my analytics that 86% of you guys are women, but was on the Building Men podcast today, and it was a lot of fun hanging out with those dudes, man. So I posted it in my stories. You can go check it up. It was, appreciate it, man. It was a lot of fun. I'd love to come back and, chat again sometime because we had a lot of fun, and there's a lot we didn't even cover yet. But it was a lot of fun going on there. It's kind of surreal being on YouTube. I don't understand why I didn't figure this out earlier. But the live thing is fun, man. It's fun. So it's unfortunate I can't share this. I can't share. I don't know where like the share the picture button is. And I know this is probably an Android thing because it was like, oh, well, you have to look for something that's like a picture of a mountain or something. And I just don't have that picture. I have no idea where that is. So unfortunately, I can't show it to you. But as you guys know, New York is going crazy again, reinstating these things going on your face. And I would just love, did you guys see this, by the way? I saw an article that was saying now that cold weather is causing heart problems in children. Like, that's where we're going with this now? Cold weather. Like, are you crazy? Like, are people buying this? Are they buying what you're selling with this? Because to me, that stuff is like, it's like, how do you not see right through what is going on? Cold weather? Come on, man. Come on. We could do better than that. Like, even if this was like an evil conspiracy, cold weather. You know what's causing heart attacks in kids? It's cold weather. Never happened before. Never mind the fact that, December happens once every 12 months. And people are falling for this shit. I don't even know, like, where to start with that. It is out of control. And there's a really good video I saw yesterday about the Amish people, which, by the way, I posted it on my Telegram. So if you guys want to see that, there was a like a news report done following this Amish community, and they talked about the three things that the Amish don't like about modern society, and they are government, the school system, and the healthcare system. Those three things that they don't like. And you know what's interesting? Like in that article, in that report, that news piece, basically like they were saying how like, oh, the Amish are the first group to reach quote unquote herd immunity. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. Guess who doesn't get the juice on the most part? Guess who doesn't really abide to social norms for the most part? It's the Amish, man. Isn't that something? You would think like this would be like an exciting piece of news, or like, it might end up on news channels, man, like where people might want to see this type of stuff or might find it, interesting or useful, or maybe, doctors might want to listen to that. Nah, we're just going to keep doing what we're doing. And don't mind all those crazy Amish people. They don't know what they're doing. They're crazy. That's something that is still just absolutely wild to me. And like the fact that like these things are happening and they're just the blatant censorship when it comes to this stuff. And the fact that most people are not even willing to look at it. It's really unfortunate. I was just listening to who was I listening to? I don't listen to Joe Rogan often, but when he has an interesting guest, sometimes I'll listen to it. And he had, I believe it was Peter McCullough on sometime earlier this week. And I haven't even listened to it. I've listened to maybe like a half hour of it. And some of the stuff that he's talking about is the same shit that we've been saying for 21 months. It's going to be month 21 starting tomorrow. Right? The 16th of the month. Because I have my post ready to go tomorrow. Because it's my monthly update of how no one talks about hormone D and, the importance of maybe exercise and sleep and stress, even though obesity and fear and anxiety related disorders are the number 1 and 2 negative health outcomes or that make the C worse, but we don't talk about that because God forbid people try to help themselves. Insane. Absolutely insane. And you know what? The nice part is, around these holidays, man, I think some more people are going to start waking up to this shit because this is getting out of control. Like, we are going to win this at the end of the day. It's just a question of how soon. And it really just comes to like, more people standing in their truth and being willing to speak up. And this is why, man, like women, I think, are like so much stronger than men, because if you notice, most of the people who are up there who got things to say about what's going on, it is largely women. And you don't mess with them. You don't fuck with them, those mama bears. No way. All right, but with that, we do have some questions here. So if you guys have questions, let's kind of go through them as I'm going along here, because we're going to have a fun class tonight. And I'm really excited to vibe and make this. So we're going to have a fun time in the Vibe Tribe. So guys, like, this is where I'm going with this. This is, I think, the new age. And, if you want information or help on these certain things, the Vibe Tribe is going to be the place to go. Okay. So, what we got? Happy holidays. Happy holidays to you, Vegan Raw. How do you get your vitamin B12 and what brand do you use? Right now, I think I have one from Quicksilver, I think, is the one I have. I have a liquid one. I have a second one, too, that was just right here. Give me 1 second. Oh, wait, here it is. Nope, wrong one. There we go. We just got another one, too, and it's right here. So this is actually good timing. I got one from B12. From Pure Encapsulations, which is just B12 liquid. I prefer the liquids. I think they're a little more, they're a little better absorbed than, say, capsules. If you want capsules, Orthomolecular makes one. I like the Pure Encapsulations is all right. I know they were bought by Nestle. Not great, but like sometimes they do the isolates okay. So you kind of got to take what you could get. Some other ones were on back order, but one time when I'm not in a rush, I'll go through it like on my laptop. But I'm streaming now on YouTube also, so I don't want to kind of bring it up. Hi, YouTube. I know I'm looking over here. It's very strange having two cameras. I almost never have two cameras. The other thing you could do is like have some nutritional yeast potentially. I don't eat a ton of nutritional yeast personally. I don't know, I don't love it, but that's just me. You know, if you like it, that's great. I would use that. What's going on, Simply Plants? But that's a good source too. You know what's interesting? I was watching. What was I watching last night? I was watching some live. I don't remember. I watched the replays of lives because I don't stay up late. I'm in bed at like 9:30. So usually what I'll do is if I know someone's going live or they're going to do something, I'll just watch it. I almost listen to it. I don't really watch it. I listen to it like as a podcast, more or less the next day. That's kind of how I operate with it. And, you know, they were talking about, you know, nutrition and plant-based diets and stuff like that. And, you know, you always get this thing. It's like you're nutrition deficient or you're nutrient deficient. And it's like, man, most of the time that I've worked with people, like it's usually more of a gut issue than it actually being nutrient deficient. Sorry, I'm looking for something. I thought I saw something in here in like my scraps of food. But like usually what it is like, oh, you'll see these things where it's people like, oh, like I can reintroduce, you know, animal products and I feel better. And like when that happens, to me, that always screams that it's probably like a gut issue. Because it's more likely due to an inability to assimilate than an actual lack, as if the plants are lacking nutrients. Because the reality is that plants don't lack really any nutrients that you find in nature. B12 is a tricky one because it's really more messed up by humans themselves than actually just being vegan. I'll explain that in a second. So, B12, contrary to what you may believe, isn't even made by animals. It's actually made by bacteria. I need to grab this bowl. I don't know why I put this over here. Because I got to grate these beets and these carrots. They're not made by animals. Even though you can get it, say, from beef or chicken, it's actually from bacteria in the soil. So hypothetically, like if you grew all your own food, there is a chance that you can actually get like the B12 that you need. However, obviously most of us aren't growing our own food, and it's really more the way soils are treated and how our food is cleaned is why we don't get the B12 from our food supply from plants. But what happens is these animals, if they're not getting it from the plants, which they eat for food, they're usually actually just supplemented. So you're getting a B12 supplement one way or another. And I posted actually in the Vibe Tribe today in analysis of the Framingham study, which was years ago. And they were saying like, oh, B12 status was not affected by being vegan or vegetarian. It had to do with eating fortified foods. So, you know, I think that's a little bit of a misconception. And all the other nutrients, again, we can go down that list. Maybe not right now. But my point is like B12 is the exception, but it's really in pretty much all foods. It's more has to do with how we treat our environment and our soil, more so than are you a vegan, if that makes any sense. Okay, what's next here? What are you making right now? I am prepping for a Beet Wellington that I'm making for my Vibe Tribe. So if you're part of the Vibe Tribe, which I've linked below, I do cooking demos once a month, and it's also a place where I share all this health information because I think that's going to be the future of healthcare. It's less of this one-on-one, although I think there's still a place for that. I believe the community aspect of healing is so underrated, and I'm test driving it with my Vibe Tribe. And it's the ability to build community and actually heal together versus kind of one-on-one. I've told this story before, but, one of my best friends, he asked me, like, what is like the hardest thing to treat? And I knew what he was saying, or like what he was trying to get at. It was like, like, is it this disease or that disease? And really, like, what I found is that person going to buy in? Is there a social structure, a community that's going to support healing rather than be destructive? And it really has a lot less to do with the actual quote unquote disease, and it has more to do with the environment of the human being. And so I'm actually putting that to the test. So, like, if you notice, like, I have stopped talking about one-on-one consultations. I took it out of my bio because I really am want to give this a real shot and talk and do community healing through this type of stuff. So it's a place that I'm trying to build that we can talk and share and then do cool things like cooking and Q&As and really build a community that's about healing. So instead of, and maybe we can talk about like case studies and blood work and fun stuff like that, because that I think is more useful than potentially like the traditional model that we have right now. I think that is part of how we change the healthcare paradigm, in my opinion. And that's what the Vibe Tribe's about, the inner circle. It doesn't always have to be, white coat and everything like that. It can be more fun and intuitive and ideally a place for growth and a place to grow, socially. So that's what we're doing there. That's what I'm making, Beet Wellington. Pregame now. What show? The Beet Wellington is the show, man. I know none of you know me from Facebook, but when everything locked down in March, Diana and me, we did live cooking demos every single day for like 6 weeks. One of them was a lentil Wellington. And so this is a similar recipe to that I'm adding beets and carrots to kind of bring a little bit more of that reddish complexion to it. And it's going to actually look like a steak at the end of the day. And if you notice, I could kind of point this down here. What I'm doing actually right now is grating carrots. And then I'm also going to grate beets. And the beets are really going to give, this Wellington, that meaty, like, color. So I got 2 beets here that I'm going to grate after I finish these carrots here. But it's going to be a lot of fun, man. I can't wait. And the cool part about this is that, other people can follow along in real time. So I can see, like, what other people are making. And to me, like, that is the most fun part of it. Is like, hey, let's do this together and see what we all come up with, Because that, to me, is really what it's all about. This box grater is getting a lot of work today. Now I got to chop up some mushrooms, and then it's going to be time to go. All right. That's a good question. By the way, if you guys have more questions, put them in the question box. Because that'd be a good time. You know what's funny? So I was thinking, I'm like, let's grate beets. And I'm like, I've never actually grated beets before. So today's going to be the day. We're going to see how these come out. I imagine it'll be like potato. Oh, wow. This is going to look ridiculous when it's done. I cannot wait. I want to get through this first beet, and I want to show you guys what this is going to look like. This is going to look so good when it's all said and done. Oh, my goodness. See, this is how, wow, just look at that. Looks amazing already. Almost there. Number one. The nice part is about using this box grater is like the skin is like already coming off, so it's not something that I have to worry about. Because sometimes, you know, like beets are kind of annoying to clean, like on their own. But we're gonna add all these like rich flavors to this, so it's really we're gonna get that meaty kind of texture that you're looking for. Wow, that looks. Just look at this real quick. Take a look at that. Wow, that looks so freaking delicious. I cannot wait. And we're gonna get another one, and all this color is gonna come out when you cut into that Wellington. Oh my God, this is gonna be preposterous how good this is. I can like already taste it because I know the flavors I'm using. But the color I think is gonna be out of control. And I also have, so I'm kind of cheating a little bit. I have this phyllo dough. So I don't have like puff pastry, but I do have phyllo dough. And that's what I'm going to end up using to make kind of like the wrap for this. And it's going to be, it's just going to be bonkers. I'm also going to have to wash my hands out of this. No way. Was it a vegan one, Simply Plants? Because this, we're doing obviously a vegan one today. So I actually also have some mung beans somewhere over here. That's going to be like the protein part that kind of holds this together. I was going to do lentils, but you know what? I was making lentils yesterday, and I'm making lentils tomorrow. So I figured, why not do mung beans? Switch it up. And that's part of like the live cooking demos. Is sometimes like when things don't work the way they should, or sometimes I'm just skipping an ingredient. You could show that in real time. But I'm really excited for this. And I think the addition of the beets, which I didn't use the last time I made this, is just going to take it over the edge and give you that color that is just going to be out of control. A little bit more I can get out of this. And then the last thing I got to do is these mushrooms. Unbelievable. Wow. So I get this box grater out of here. I gotta rinse my hands off quick because then everything's gonna turn purple if I don't do that. So, 1 second. Oh man. But yeah, this is gonna be a lot of fun, man. I cannot wait for this. Let's get this in here. So we got some garlic and onions. We got some carrots. The last thing is some mushrooms. Let me rinse off this cutting board very quickly, and then I'm going to get to that question. Let me just rinse this so I can chop these mushrooms. Okay. Mushrooms. All right, question. My hands are still wet. Okay. What we got? What we got here? Do you first soak your grains, legumes, etc.? Sometimes is the answer. They don't particularly bother me at this point in terms of like gas and stuff, so I don't always do it. Now, obviously, if they're dried like these mung beans are, then yeah, I'll soak them and then I will cook them. And these I just did in some water because I didn't have some vegetable stock defrosted. So actually, I'll do that in a second. Let me finish these mushrooms first. So it kind of depends, but usually I don't. I'll just kind of cook them because they don't particularly bother me too much. Unless, of course, sometimes dried ones you kind of have to soak overnight before you cook them anyway. Or if you're sprouting, I love sprouting, by the way. Sprouting is, I think, such an underrated, underutilized tool that we have. And you can get so much more nutrition out of like already nutritious foods. And I think it's just a game changer. Maybe one day I'll have to do like a sprouting guide or something like that. Maybe I'll do that for the Vibe Tribe. Talk about that. Do that live. Like the benefits of sprouting and talk about that. I think that's a good idea. Maybe I'll do that sometime soon. One of the benefits of that, we do all these kind of impromptu things. I think that'll be fun. So yeah, the mushrooms and the carrots and the beets are really going to bring some color and texture along with the beans. And then it's really about using a bunch of flavors that are going to like mimic this potentially being beef. And that's really kind of the game plan. So you use a lot of warm flavors. Things that I always use in situations like this are usually like garlic powder, tamari, smoked paprika. Like if you're going for that like rich umami flavor, that's usually the way you want to go. I like fermenting some veg. Fermenting is great. I actually pickled. I got like a whole row in my fridge of pickled beets right now. I got like 4 containers of pickled beets. I just made like a huge pot of them on Sunday. It was just something I was like, you know what? I want pickled beets. Couldn't tell you why. That's just what I was feeling. I was like, I haven't had beets in a while, and I want to have some in my fridge that are like ready to go. And I figured pickled beets, I could just, I could pick some to put on top of sandwiches. I can just have one like as a snack. I also put some red onions in there, so it adds like even a little bit more sweetness. So it's like kind of like a, tart, sweet, something you put on top of sandwiches or burgers or in salads. Like they really go a long way. But I got like a whole shelf of pickled beets right now, and they'll last, a little bit. Until it's time to pickle something else in a large quantity. I don't know what that would be. But the pickled beets, man, yeah. It's great because you want to know what's funny? I don't particularly love beets personally. Like, obviously, they're super nutritious. I'm just saying the taste of beets, I don't particularly love. So I like pickling them and adding other kind of flavors that make it more appealing to me. So I like adding them to like avocado. You could do like beet avocado salads. You could add roasted beets to like burgers. So that, I don't want to say like you're hiding it necessarily, but you kind of like use it in a way that's, I think, a little bit more where the taste isn't as obvious. But again, that's to me. Some people love beets and, like all the power to you. The taste of them, I don't particularly love. And it sucks because I know how good they are for you, but pickled beets I will enjoy because I know I like that acidic, I like that sour flavor, and I just think it's a component of a lot of dishes, particularly in home cooking, that most people miss. Is that acidic element? So like that's what takes like your cooking to the next level. It's the ability to have all 5 of your flavor profiles in some kind of balance, right? You want sweet, sour, salty, bitter, and umami. Umami is the hardest one eating only plants, but like I mentioned, there's ingredients that you can use that make it, worth your while. And it's just worth it to have those around so you can, make food that tastes good. All right, I'm going to go because it's time to do this demo. Thank you all for hanging out with me. If you want to hang out, we're going to be doing another cooking demo next month. Or if you want to join right now, the link's in my bio, and you could join us live right now. My plan is to also have like Q&As there, and it's also a place to just kind of connect and where I share health information sometimes that, probably doesn't go too hot over here. So hope to see you there. Thank you for hanging out with me on YouTube and on IG. See you guys soon. Much love. Peace. And peace to you, IG.